Hi, it's Kamon, Reynolds. Let's inspect our new split that we made for our package versus nuke challenge. So, we started off with 5 hives. We've got 7 now. We've introduced 2 queens over here, all that jazz. But let's see what is going on in here. I actually took a peek earlier, and I think this is going to be something that we all need to be aware of. It took me a little while to learn it, and, well, I guess I'll just show you. But let's get into this hive. So, this one over here, of course, if you watch the video, I'll leave that link in the description. I'm going to leave how we made this one as well. Very similar, just a little bit different, and how we went about making these splits. So those will be in the description below and all that stuff. But this one right here is smaller by far than that one. That was a full deep split. This was about a half deep. So it's about 5 frames, about a nuke, but you got to give them plenty of room. I like big splits. You're fixing to see. So this one is less than a week old. We introduced one of our mated queens into here. We gave them a pollen patty. There's decent bee coverage. Now, we gave them these combs over here, but they were dry. There was no food in them or anything like that, and so they don't really have to guard it against small hive beetles or wax moths because it's dry. And plus, there's a good bit of bee coverage. There's plenty of bees for what they have. All right, so they've eaten through their pollen patty, did a really good job. We'll give them some more. There's a little bit of pollen coming in right now, which is awesome. Goldenrod's starting to bloom a little bit, but the early goldenrod here doesn't do very much at all. All right, now the queen cage. Go ahead and get that out. We're going to pull out the feeder here. Now this is what I want to show you right here. Okay, so this is less than a week old. And look what we got on this edge frame right here. Queen cells. Panic button. Well, and used to, I would have freaked out about that. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through and see if they accepted the queen. They're like, well, they're making cells. They haven't accepted the queen. Not always. Many times they'll accept the queen, but not all of them do. And they'll start raising their own queen until they'll kind of let her live, but they won't just let her be. They're going to raise some cells, or maybe they went ahead and started them first. Now, I think that's what happens more often than not, is that they freak out, and then they start those cells, and some of the bees are more reluctant to accept the new queen than others, and they keep continuing to draw those cells out. And the thing of it is, even if this other queen's in here laying, if that hatches out a virgin, it's going to hunt down that old queen and take her out. I've had it happen too many times. All right, so we've got more emerging brood coming from what we gave them. I'm seeing some eggs, so she was laying within 3.5 days. And let's go this frame over here. That looks really good. A lot of brood hatching out. There's eggs down in those cells. Oh, and there she is right there. Beautiful Carney queen. So they're letting her lay. She looks good. So now that we've found our queen and she's laying, we're going to take those cells out. That is why you wait till afterwards to crush the cells. Now we need to make sure we go through the rest of these frames and make sure that there's no more. And sometimes they'll do that a couple times. Maybe she's not producing enough pheromone right off the bat. I think that happens more when you purchase queens than when you use your own, because the fresher the queen is, and what I mean by fresh is how she went from laying in one of our nucleus mating nukes and comes over here and gets put in, she still has a strong pheromone because she's been laying recently. But when you get a queen shipped in, especially if it's a heavy time of the year, she might have been banked for a while, who knows. Alright, so this right here is just foodstuffs. They've got a decent bit of food in here. So right now, as far as bee coverage goes, we've got about, if you added it all together, I'd say we had about 4 frames. That's not bad, especially since there's only about 4 frames worth of stuff to guard. So these are the only 2 that I saw in there. And you see all kinds of royal jelly down in here. That stuff's really good for you. You know what? Just for the video's sake, I'm going to eat that. They say it makes you look beautiful and young. Not that I need any help or anything. It's been a while. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, where's some honey? Enough of my honey. That's much better. That stuff is so bitter. It's the weirdest flavor. But I'm going to live in like an extra 2 months now because of that. Who knows? Royal jelly's supposed to be really good for you. Oh, it's nasty. I need more honey. Anyways, so this split's in great shape. It's doing good. Good bee coverage. That's what's important. I see so many pictures, especially on our Facebook group. I don't see them a bunch, but these people trying to requeen these hives, or they're trying to get a hive to take off, and there's not enough good bee coverage. Let me show you this frame over here. That's more like it. All right, so this has got brood on it. That's okay bee coverage right there. This is a warm time of the year, so that'll work. That's good bee coverage right there. It takes a lot of bees in order to be able to raise young larvae. Thankfully, this hive has still got all this capped brood that's currently hatching out, so there's a lot more reinforcements on the way. And then we've got more capped brood coming out over here. Most of it's hatched out. Whoa, that's some nice looking larvae down in there. Lots of royal jelly. See if you can get some of that, Laurel. There's all that beautiful larvae down in there. So that queen's been busy. You see that, Laurel? Alright, so anyways, it takes just a lot of work. They have to consume a lot of protein and excrete it through their foreheads in order to be able to produce that royal jelly. And there's research that shows that there's different mixtures for worker larvae or queen larvae. So we don't know everything there is about it, but there are differences. But that stuff is so important. It takes a lot of work and a lot of protein. Right now we're kind of in a dearth, so I mean, if I was just to make a split like this, especially in like mid-June when the dearth just starts, and just make a split like that, throw a queen in there and just feed it sugar syrup, they would not fill out this box. Not here, because I don't have enough protein coming in, and they would go backwards, and if they have enough mites or any other problem, they're just going to get so nutritionally stressed on the protein side. Keep in mind that nectar, I'm sure it gives some good things for the bees to a degree, but mostly their nutrition comes from the protein and fats that they get from their protein. So we need to make sure that our larvae has all that nice jelly down in there. And if it doesn't have that, then we need a supplement with some type of feed. I have almost all summer long Ultra Bee set out where the bees can forage it out. And right now I have probably about 100 odd bees hitting it, which, you know, you might look at that like, oh yeah, my bees are doing it. That's enough to take care of my bees. That's not even a good nuke's worth of foragers. For whatever reason, my bees just won't hit it very hard. But if I throw these suckers on there, they'll consume them really good, and it translates into beautiful frames of brood. I'm seeing hives right now that just have full, just capped brood, just gorgeous. Make sure you crush these really good too. Get them done, get them gone. But anyways, I just wanted to show you this split right here. This can happen to you though. Your queen gets accepted, but you have a couple rogue bees, or maybe they freak out a little early and they start making a cell, and a lot of times they'll just continue with the cell whether they need it or not, whether the queen's good or not, and then you'll end up with a perfectly good queen that you either paid for or that you raised yourself that gets killed by a virgin when, you know, there was no need for it. So just watch that. I like to introduce a queen and then come back a week later. And that way, if there is any cells like that and they've accepted the queen and she's running around, I can catch those cells before they hatch out a virgin, and then you lose your great mated queen. So it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, so watch out for that. If you have any comments or questions on what we're going to do to this colony down the road, save them for later because we're going to have more videos on it. Sounds like my goobers are having a disagreement. But basically what we're going to do is throw our feeder rim on this thing. We're going to throw probably about 1/3 of a gallon of this in here. And then we're going to throw this patty on top and watch this sucker grow right here. Always thanks for watching our videos.